What's up, world? Welcome back to another Day in the Life episode. Today we're going to talk about the tough times, the times where you beat your head against the wall, the times where you feel like ish, the times where you feel like giving up, the times that you feel like everybody abandoned you. I'm talking about those times where you go dark. You may even be in tears. That's what I'm talking about. And today I want to chat with you guys real casual about this, because I can look back at the entirety of my career in real estate, but just my life in general. And amongst all the amazing peaks, there's also been a tremendous amount of valleys. And what I mean by that is there's been a lot of highs and lows. After about, end of 2023, me getting deplatformed and all that, because we'll speak of the most recent times, right? That was definitely a big low for me, to have everything that I've been building for a long time, me having to move real estate companies and my team getting fractured, and then, losing tons of money, just tons and tons of money, right? Basically had everything on automation, everything was going really well, to basically having to start all over, right? Not really fun, not pleasant, not warranted, not fair, in quotes, right? And there was moments where I would really get down on myself. But just to give everybody context, when I have these moments, I always go back to the fundamental teachings that I've learned over the years, and I stick with a few key things that I want to talk about for you that are going to help you a lot. Because I've been there, man. Moments in my basketball career, moments most recently in businesses that I have and, real estate have been real shitty. Number one, I always remind myself that everything is temporary. I'm even telling that to myself today, because the last 24 hours up in my head have been good, but also tough at the same time, because I look at the life that I've created and it's beautiful, but even within that, there's struggles. But I always remind myself, if I feel shitty right now, it's temporary. If I'm going through a lull in my business, or maybe a week or two of temporarily funds going down, or transactions slowing down a little bit, it's temporary. Everything is temporary. The moment I say that, the smile comes back on my face, and suddenly that emotion gets dulled a little bit. Now, another thing, point number two, that I really think will help you a lot. You notice that whenever you start feeling down or having bad moments, days, whatever you want to call it, right? Our mind is never focused on the task at hand or the present moment. It's always up in our head, meaning it's thinking about the past or worrying about the future. It's in some kind of time space, right? Past or future, but in a negative sense, and looking at it pessimistically and looking at it from the wrong perspective. It's the what if scenarios, and it's never, or rarely is it, a positive what if. Like, oh, hey, what if this actually works out and then I get everything I want? Very rarely is it that, right? Most of the time it's the opposite. It's, well, what if this deal falls through and then I can't pay my bills and this and that? It's very weird, that dynamic. Where we go wrong is we don't catch it. You daydream, and that turns into hours and days and weeks, and then that becomes your life. That's the problem. So I remind myself, number one, everything is temporary. Number two, I do my best to be here in the present moment. What am I doing now? I'm going to the gym. It's Sunday morning. I'm going to go get a quick boxing workout in. Then I'm going to get back. I may go for a walk. And then I've already planned, okay, I'm going to make some content. I have a coaching call that I need to do. I have my Toastmasters tonight. I'm thinking more about, okay, what am I doing now for my business and for my life and for the betterment of me in the present moment? That gets your mind off all that crap. Because remember, when your mind is not being guided, and this is point number three, when you're not purposeful and at cause, meaning I'm focused and I know exactly what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it. When you're not in that mode and you default to like bored, sitting back, not doing anything, what happens? Your mind goes negative. It's wired for survival. I've been saying this for 12, 13 years. Everybody knows this. But what do? We default too much. We idle, right? Like idling with the car. Think about that. You don't want to idle. Well, Bryan, I need to enjoy life. And that's all that BS that people tell you. You need to direct your mind. You need to direct your life. You need to direct your actions, your thoughts, everything. You need to be in control. The moment that you realize what I just said and you really practice that most of the time, because nobody's perfect, but most of the time, everything about your life will change. Another reason that I do these videos, especially the off-topic ones like this, compared to what people classically label me as, the real estate guy, the sales guy, part of this is that process for me too. Because as I speak and I give you guys this stuff, it also reinforces it in my head. And it's a constant reminder that I need to do what it is that I need to do, and that I know, and that I need to execute. It's that simple. How many of us allow everything outside of us to make us the effect? We don't live in cause anymore. We're living in the effect. If you scroll on social media and it gets you down, you're the effect. If you're pointing the finger at people, you're the effect. If you act and really believe helpless in life, like you can't do anything, or you can't change your state of mind, or your emotions, you can't understand them and conquer them, you're the effect, and that's why you suffer. You have to be the cause point in your life. And that's a tough one for a lot of people, because we think that we have way less control and power than we actually do. I started, in quotes, brainwashing myself into really believing that I had a lot more control than I previously had thought, because we just are an accumulation of all the influences we've ever had. So if you grew up or studied or watched TV and everything and everyone around you told you a particular narrative or story, you're classically going to believe that, and you will receive a lot of backlash when you start challenging that. But I'm encouraging you to challenge it. Literally everything I'm doing today, and even in my past, nobody thought I would do. Playing basketball professionally. I live in Miami, Florida now. I built up a nationwide real estate team. My original YouTube channel back in 2019, 2020 had 200,000 followers. I had like 80,000 followers on Instagram, bought investment properties, toured the world and spoke nationally and internationally. I'm just naming, some of the stuff, and that's not even all of it. No one ever thought that I would achieve that stuff except me, because I was crazy enough to believe that I would do it. And I already know what I've accomplished, because next point, right, we can say point number 4 is, when you're on those tough times, you need to look back, if you are going to get in that mode of looking back, and acknowledge those moments and times where you did have confidence and you were winning, and what that felt like and what you were doing. Because in many cases, all we really need to do is tap back into that. One thing that I recently really started focusing on, as dumb and as simple as it is, get my ass in bed by 10 p.m. like I used to do religiously. Just be in bed by 10 and go to sleep. Because I have a good circadian rhythm, I'm going to wake up early anyway. Because if I go to sleep at 12 or 1 or 10 a.m., I'm still going to wake up at 6 every day, just automatically without an alarm clock. But if I go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 6, I got 8 hours of sleep and I feel amazing. But if I got 5 or 6 hours of sleep, I still feel good because I'm a healthy dude, but it's not the same. But even something as simple as that radically shifts everything. It's the smallest things. In the morning, I'd recommend to all of you, put down your fucking phones and do no social media. This is a rule I had for years. No social media until noon. So even if you wake up at 8, that's 4 hours, no social media. Try that. Because a lot of what you see is messing you up. Social media, unless your mind is carefully crafted, becomes a major downfall. I found myself early on in my career and in my journey looking at stuff on social media and almost getting upset, because we all do that. You'll compare yourself to somebody else. You'll feel upset that somebody else, but think about that. Why would you feel upset that someone else is succeeding? That doesn't make any sense. And I had to question that. I was like, why am I pissed off? Why am I pissed off? See, but that's not a social media issue. We can have our arguments and qualms about social media, which I totally agree with. That's a you issue. Why are you upset that someone else is shining or winning, whether it's fake or not? Let's say it was real and the person accomplished something, they're doing well, they're announcing something cool. Why are you upset? That's a problem. But all these things are indicators to see where we're at mentally. And if I ever start falling back into these old patterns and ways of, like maybe being upset looking at somebody, their timeline or their picture or their update or anything of that nature, I immediately nip it in the bud. Boom. Hey, let's get back to this. Why am I doing this? Why am I experiencing this? Okay, I acknowledge first that's a problem, right? That's an issue. and I need to handle it, because much of this getting yourself out of the rut or whatever is a you with you process. You need to dig yourself out of the hole. You need to start making the changes. And most of it is internal. It's all mindset. That's why my channels and everything I've done, especially with my inner circles and my coaching, has been so focused on developing people from the inside out, because that's the key here. Everybody knows functionally and on the surface what they need to do for your business, for your life. Yeah, wake up early, eat healthy, read, educate. Everybody knows that. But to what degree are people executing and actually implementing and having transformation at the identity, value, and beliefs level? This is why it's so important that you guys understand different philosophical things and question your belief system and see, hey, can I integrate something new? Can I change something? Because once that shifts, then fundamentally from the inside out, you shift, because your core values move. Your identity shifts and things begin to change. You view the world differently. When that core portion of you and piece of you shifts and changes, then everything is gonna shift. It's gonna cause a complete paradigm shift in you. Why? Because now how you approach and process everyday things in life absolutely changes 100%. Like that. Your perspective, your response to things, how you carry yourself, how you speak to people, the standard that you hold yourself to, all those things start to change. And that's the beauty of this thing. But this is an active process. But that last one is so big. You need to be the cause point in your life. I know when I'm doing shitty, I'm being the effect, and I need to be the cause again and recapture that power and use it and demonstrate it. I'm causing my YouTube to grow, right? I just shared that picture. I'm going to share it in the community post. I'm under review to get monetized, this channel, in a couple months. When my first one that got 200,000 subscribers took 2 years to get monetized or more. Cause point. Be the cause point, and everything else in your life will shift. See ya.